People in their 40s and 50s with no children, how does it feel? I'm very glad to have been a part of the lives of my brother's kids, but I would have been a terrible parent myself, so it's all good. I'm only 29, but this is where my head is at. I'm so excited to be an aunt, but I have no desire for children of my own. Same, but I probably won't get to be an aunt either. And I'm not too sad about that, to be honest. It is what it is. I definitely think it was the right choice for me. Gotta be honest with myself, I am a little lazy and selfish, and while I think I might have been a decent dad, I don't think I would have been a happy one. I never understood the argument that if you do not want to have kids, you're a selfish person. You're selfish to who, exactly? A potential human that doesn't exist? I'd argue it's selfish to have kids, because you're doing it for your own desires. For me, it's not that I'm selfish in regards to like my mom or dad or family or whatever, but that I am literally selfish and would resent the child for making me spend all my precious time taking care of it. I know I would never hurt the kid and would do my best, but I know I would be miserable deep inside for the 20 years they need my constant care and supervision. I hold my own time and my own hobbies too precious to forsake them for 20 years for the benefit of another. I am literally selfish. Context: female, 44, no kids, married. Selfish is seen as a negative trait, but it isn't that simple. Knowing you would be miserable, which kids often pick up on but can't explain, doesn't make you selfish for not having them. It would affect them. Most people are a level of selfish anyway, because otherwise you'll be taken advantage of. But the simple fact that you'd still try to raise the kids and not just abandon them to adoption shows you're not as selfish as you think. Truly selfish people wouldn't do that. This really puts things into perspective for me. People always say they think I'd be a great dad. I think I could have been a good dad, but my happiness definitely would have taken a back seat. Maybe as a dad I would have been okay with that, but maybe not. And I'd hate to blame my lack of happiness on my children who would have had no choice in the matter. I love my kids more than anything in the universe. They make me smile, laugh, and bring out the kid in me that I thought was long gone. That said, they have also given me a huge amount of stress and make me exhausted constantly. Especially when they're young, it just never stops. There are no sick days for you or mental health days. You're busy from dawn and likely before to dusk and likely after. If you work a job, good luck taking time off after the birth without your bosses rolling their eyes because you're a guy. Having a kid has made me and my wife even more pro-choice because, damn, I could not imagine doing all this if I didn't sign up for it. Honestly, sort of sad, but not overwhelming. I was always ambivalent about having kids. I would have been up for it if my partner wanted them, but he didn't, and I was totally fine not having them. I still don't feel strongly about it. But that partner and I broke up a few years back, and now that I'm in my early 40s, it's just very weird to realize that, well, that window is probably closed. I mean, as far as I know, I could still get pregnant. But my current partner and I aren't in a place to be looking at that, and since we'd really have to try, now I'm accepting that it's just not going to happen. So yeah, there's some kind of grief. But it's a weird sort of grief because I never actively wanted kids and was always perfectly comfortable with the idea of not having them. It's more grief over losing the potential of having them in the future, I guess. I'm 39 and I feel the same way. Right now, with my current life, I don't want kids. But I've basically run out of time to meet a partner and find myself in a lifestyle where parenthood makes sense, and there's some grief in losing the choice. I never once had the tingling feeling of wanting to become a parent. I simply don't have that want, desire, responsibility to raise a child, especially in this timeline we're living in. Then I met my wife, who thinks the exact same way. We both love traveling, backpacking, camping, etc. It's freeing knowing we can get up in a split second and go. Damn, congrats. It's weird, BC, all your child-having friends, which is most everyone, are completely consumed by their kids, so you don't relate as well with others. But also it's great because I have extra money and I can spend it on whatever the fuck I please. Oh, and I have extra time to do whatever I please, but sometimes I want to do something with my best friend, but she can't because of her kid. So, there's positives and negatives. For what it's worth, I have friends who are childless, and while I'm consumed with my kid, I really, really want to be around my childless friends as well. Reach out to them. See if they want to hang out. I get desperate for that adult interaction. They might too. It's tough because I really go out of my way to see my friends with kids. I'm 35. Most of my friends have toddlers. But a lot of my friends just stopped asking about my life. It's always about their kids and their changes and what they said or ate or did. And while I have sort of accepted it 3+ years in, it does feel really shitty for your friends to just stop asking you about life. My best friend of years barely asked me about my honeymoon during any part of planning or the trip. Or to have their only response be, "Wow, I wish I could stay up that late these days." It makes it really hard on my end to keep going out of my way. You articulated this so well. It's a weird struggle. My friends will monologue all about their kids' potty training, nuances of childcare, various vapid kid topics, and I'm happy to listen. But it's strange that it doesn't get reciprocated. Or if it does, it's just a one-off, "Oh, how was that huge thing in your life you mentioned 3 months ago?" It's funny how the only negative you could find is other people having kids. I really cherish my upbringing. That being said, my siblings' energy and personalities have been robbed by their children. They're not passionate about anything anymore. Every activity is just kids. Everything needs to be scheduled. Even if I hang out at their house for half a day, I get it 20 actual minutes of talk time because the rest is parenting. It exhausts me, let alone what it must be like for them. All I hear is how much they love their kids, which is great. But everyone I know who has kids seems to be a blander version of when I met them. They're tired all the time, even with older kids. Everything is planning and expensive. Their lives just seem spread thin. I feel self-conscious about talking about my own boring life because it's illustrious compared to theirs. And the cherry on top is that they'll ask me when I'm having kids, "What part of your life makes you think I'm attracted to it?" It seems like children suck the soul out of you like a Dementor and then you get Stockholm Syndrome. People need to keep having kids, obviously. But my sentiment about being around them, even the older ones, is that they are sometimes tolerable. I can't even take care of myself, let alone have to take care of another living person. So I just do what I want with my life and have a great time doing it. It's pretty awesome. I can't even take care of myself, let alone have to take care of another living person. Ha, yeah, man, I feel you. The freedom. The sweet, sweet freedom to do what I want or not do when I want. Parent of a 20-something here, I feel the same way. I enjoyed raising my kid, but my partner and I have started our second life now. Child is living on their own. Child is living on their own made me laugh out loud. Mine are still young and they are great, but I'm excited about that day. Pretty great. My wife turned out to be a narcissistic abuser, so I divorced her. 1. No kids that would have suffered from her behavior. 2. No kids that would have suffered through the divorce. I'm more than happy to be the silly, fun uncle to my brother's kids. Are you sure you aren't a dad to Marcy? And that's really the point, isn't it? Everyone's path is different. Some people find fulfillment through raising children, others through their careers, relationships, or passions. The key is being honest with yourself and living a life that feels right for you. If this conversation resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below sharing your thoughts or experiences. I'd love to hear your perspective. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.